We respectfully request the Sangha great virtues for the sake of this assembly and all living beings. Please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung thính đại đức thắng thịnh, vì thứ Pháp vui cấp nhờ việc chúng sanh, thịnh chiến diệu phạm luân giao đạo ngã môn, như há liêu sanh thoát tư ly khổ đà lạc, thất chứng vô sanh. Homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One. Nam mô Sadanto Suche Do Ye La Hudi San Miao San Puto Xie. Nam mô Tát Đắc Tha Tô Già Đà Già La Hà Đế Tam Miệu Tam Bồ Đà Toa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I am able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles. Wu sheng 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 wei miao fa bai qian wan jie nan zao yi wo jin jie wen de shou ci Yuan Jie Ru Lai Zhe Shi Yi. O Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Great Master Huineng, Great Master YongHua, all good monks and nuns, and all good no advisors of Emitofuo. 诸佛菩萨六祖师父上人，各位出家人，各位上智士，弥陀佛。Chư Phật Bồ Tát kính thưa Lục Tổ, Hòa Thượng Thiện Hóa, quý thầy cô và quý vị thiện sư Thích Ca Di Đà Phật. Hello everyone, today is the 6th of January 2024. Thank you all for joining us at DTT here to continue discussing the 6th chapter of the Patriarch Sutra. I'm glad you're here. I got started this way too. I came in too late and Master Shah stopped training his student. So all I had after looking for a good new advisor everywhere, all I had was the recordings of his teachings of these sutras and its translations. So I imagine that they used to explain sutras to a small group of people like this. And trust me, it was tremendously helpful to me. So I hope that in the future, other people too will find our explanation of the sutra and our discussion of it helpful too. All right, we are on slide 114. Sutra text says, if you do not take refuge in your own Buddha, there is no one you can rely on. 自否不归，无所依处。 Okay, this is so Buddhist. This is so 6th Patriarch. He says basically that when you take refuge with the Triple Jewel, as you're taught to, as the Buddhists are taught, are encouraged to do, it sounds like you're taking refuge with some sort of aliens from Kryptonite planet or somewhere, something like that, where they're invincible and you can depend on. Actually, 6th Patriarch says, I gotta let you know, when you take refuge to Triple Jewel, meaning you take refuge to the Buddha and the Dharma and the Sangha, actually, you take refuge with your own Buddha. Okay? It's no one else's. It sounds simple, but it's very, very profound. This is a philosophy of Buddhism. Buddhism, what we teach you, is not something foreign to you, something that's out there somewhere, superstition and all so forth. But actually, Buddhism is about you. You learn about Buddhism in order to discover about your true self. And so even when we teach you to take refuge with the Triple Jewel, with the Buddha, actually, the 6th Patriarch is revealing to us the state secret. He says, when you take refuge with the Buddha, actually, you take refuge with your own self, the Buddha inside of you, not outside. It's not a Buddha that's behind me in the statues. That's just the marks. Okay? That's just the appearances, the phenomena. Well, actually, the substance of this taking refuge with the Triple Jewel is actually you taking refuge with your own Buddha. It's so profound. It is incredibly Buddhist. We're not selling anything you don't already have. Believe it or not. Do you believe or not? So, I've been preaching to you, what about you being taught that you should look for a good known advisor and then you take refuge with a good known advisor? Is that the same thing? Seems to be different. What do you think? A dead silence. Way Mountain.
Master, if I may guess, is this something like, I think I heard this story that there was a man that he was looking for gold, but the gold was in his jacket or something. But it's like our own Buddha is like a gold, but it's with us, but we don't know where it is. But the
It's in our jacket, you mean? It's a precious pearl. That's why I told you. It's a very famous anecdote where there's a rich man who has a son, prodigal son, and the son doesn't believe in his dad. So the dad's worried about him, so he sewed a priceless pearl into the son's jacket, and knowing the son would be leaving the family home to look for his own path, okay, to look for wealth and treasure. And so the prodigal son wandered for a long time around looking for something, some treasure, but he didn't know. This is the irony of it, is that the son never realized that inside his coat pocket, and thank goodness, thank God that he didn't dump it. Okay. After all the years of traveling around, and I'm sure that they didn't have dry cleaning back then. I would have dumped the jacket. Okay. But no, the son clearly had some blessings. That's why after all these years, he still had his jacket. Okay? And then at the end, he somehow discovered the priceless pearl and said, oh, I do have a treasure inside of me. Okay, so that's the lesson that his dad taught him, wanted to give him, that he has so much wealth himself already. Don't have to look outside. And that's the story of Buddhist teachings, the philosophy of Buddhist teachings. Do not look outside. Your wealth is within you. Not necessarily inside your coat pocket or your jacket collar, okay? But it's deeper, a little bit deeper inside. So it's a lot safer than your jacket collar. Yes, Wei Mountain.
Thank you, Master, for explaining the story correctly. So what if the good-knowing advisor is someone that he met while he's wandering? A person actually told him that you have that pearls in your jacket. He pointed and kind of guiding him what's within him. That could be a good-knowing advisor, isn't it?
You hope so. You may run into a good new advisor who wants you to invest in his temples, his Buddha statues. You never know. Or buy land in Florida or in Mexico. We don't know. Yes, you got it. A good no advisor. This is important for you to understand, all of you to understand. Even though in a Chinese system, and see, really the only system I know of, maybe India too, but I haven't studied Indian Buddhism, so I plead ignorance. But in a Chinese system, Mahayana Chinese system, when we practice Buddhism, we want to develop wisdom. Then what we do is look for a good no advisor instead of trying to understand everything ourselves. Okay, try to figure it out ourselves. That doesn't work very well at all. Okay, and so therein lies the profound Chinese wisdom that's not available in most cultures. The Chinese, this is what I'm very grateful to the Chinese for, is that very wisdom. You want to cultivate under a good no advisor. And if the good no advisor is no good, look for another one, look for another one, look for another one. Do not try to do it by yourself. Okay? That's a very profound wisdom. Okay? So even if you can't find one, okay, the Buddha and Bodhisattvas know that, and they take note, and they will help you. Okay, good no advisors are under the supervision of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Okay, so yes, in your progression, you have to first find someone who's trying to get you to buy him a nicer car. Red car, I think. Okay, but eventually you wake up to that. So you say, maybe he's such a not good. Maybe he's such an evil no advisor instead of a good no advisor. Okay, so you move on and move on and move on. It's a search. There's no guarantee in life. Let's face it. Okay, but at least you have the wisdom incredible Buddhist wisdom that is, you look for a wise teacher. Okay? And over time, you will develop the faith in a wise teacher. Or pretty soon you find out the teacher is no good, then move on, and move on, and move on. So after Master YongHua died, I personally started looking for a good advisor, and I found several, and they didn't last very long, okay, even including his own disciples. Okay, and so I looked out in that sense. Then I finally realized how important it is. After I traveled into many different cultures, different temples, I realized that only the Chinese have that edge over us. Okay, and so the role of good no advisor, as Sarah correctly pointed out, is not about getting you to worship him or to slave for him. The good no advisor's role is to help you discover your own Buddha that's inherent in you. The good no advisor is the one who tries to gently point out to you, unlike the prodigal son who search outside for a long time without any success. The good advisor is supposed to tell you, gradually point out to you that there is a pearl, there's a treasure within you. And that's what this good no advisor is doing for us. He puts it bluntly. When you take refuge, you're taking refuge actually with the Buddha. No one else. See, if I were to teach you, he says, if I were to teach you to take refuge with you, actually, I'm teaching you to take refuge with the Buddha, not with me. Okay, so my job is to help you, show you instruction, guide you, so that you eventually discover your own Buddha. It's inside of you. You have everything already. You have the precious treasury already. You just don't know how to access it. That's all. All of you. Even men have it too. Chung-Yin, how many days is it now? 22-3? Which one, 2 or 3? So today is 23rd, going 23.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Are you suffering?
Not that much. Yeah.
Not that much?
Yeah.
You suffer more. Okay. 9 times 3. What's 9 times 3? Remind me. Kyung-min, what's 9 times 3? 27. There you go, 27. It's her idea. 23, 4 more days. No big deal. Wow, it looks good. It looks better and better. Yeah. All right? And so it's a reminder for you and for us as well. Our job is to help you discover your own Buddha. We're not your Buddhas. You are your own Buddhas. Yes, Way Mountain. Isn't that cool? So even men have it, even the Catholics have it. You know, even Daniel in Way Mountain. Is Daniel there in Way Mountain? Of course he's not.
I think he's here, he's hiding.
He's Saturday night. What is he doing here? It's a date night, man.
Well, you know why he's here. He's
following
here
his...
with his,
He's tailing his girlfriend?
his pour amour is here somewhere.
I would, if I were him, I say, I
saw
give
her.
my girlfriend an ultimatum. I say, hey, it's Saturday night, either we go on a date, or I follow you.
See, he's hiding behind that post.
I know, he's so embarrassed. God is so un-Catholic.
We have a comment here from Twee Master. Good evening, Master. I think of it as being away from home for so long that we forgot our way back. And our good knowing advisor is someone who remembers how to get back so they can help us, guide us home.
Yes, that's exactly. But it's not just home. We're talking about you are the Buddha. You have a Buddha inside of you. It's so cool. That's why it's shocking to all of us, to all of you, I'm pretty sure, to hear that Daniel actually is a Buddha. I said, oh no, Master, that's not possible. Okay, but we're in no hurry to tell Daniel, are we? Okay, so again, the 6th Patriarch says that I'm teaching you, okay? You have your own Buddha that you need to take refuge with, because he's teaching about taking the 3 refuges. 116. Now that you're self-enlightened, you should each take refuge with the triple jewel of your own mind.
今即自悟，各须皈依自心三宝。
Okay, 117 commentary. It says, now that you're self-enlightened, meaning what? Now you are awakened to the Buddha inside of you. It's not about you self-enlightened. Don't get too excited. You're not enlightened yet. Okay? You are self-awakened to the treasury inside of you. It's not outside of you. Okay? Then you should each take refuge with the triple jewel of your own mind. Okay? That Buddha there of yours, okay? In order for you to have gain full access to it, you take refuge with your own mind. You go through your mind. We use your mind to help you get there. In other words, we work with your minds and your money. That's me, just me. For him, it's the mind. For me, it's mind and money. 118. Inside, regulate your mind and nature. Outside, respect others. That is to take refuge with yourself.
内调心性，外敬他人，是自皈依也。
Okay, so he says, when I teach you to take refuge with your own mind, let me spell it out for you. It's not just words. All right? This is what makes him a great teacher. When he tells you a concept, he teaches you a concept, he says, this is actually what it means for you in terms of practice. And that's the distinctive characteristics of great teachers. They don't teach you simply theories and words. They say, this is what the words imply for you in your life. That's so Buddhist. Now you know about it. This is how you should live your life. Okay? So they interpret the teachings for us. It's not just a theory. Okay? It's just not a theorem here. They said, this is the principles that you're supposed to know. And if you really believe in this, this is how you behave. This is how you will live your everyday life. Then you can call yourself Buddhist, true Buddhist. If you only learn words and open your mouth and talk about words and don't really live like that, you're half Buddhist. All right? It's always both sides. One side is you need to understand the principles behind it, which you can find in the books and online materials. But the other side is someone has to remind you what it means to you personally. Not what it means to her, to him. What it means to you personally. That's so Buddhist. Okay? So what does it mean? Now that you awaken to the fact there is a Buddha inside of you that you can depend on, and how can you depend on this Buddha inside of you? Okay? You, in order to fully utilize your Buddha inside of you, in order to find that pearl that your father sewed into your jacket, you need to find a knife. And you cut the thread. That's how you discover the pearl. If you didn't do that, there's no pearl. There's no treasure. Is that clear? Same thing here. If you want to depend on yourself, on the Buddha inside of you, the Buddha inherent in you, then you regulate your mind and nature. It is so profound and yet so simple. This is why great wisdom is so clear, so succinct. It's not a lot of verbiage, there's no need for an essay. Okay? He says, regulate your mind. What does it mean, regulate your mind? Okay? And nature. What nature is he talking about? What mind is he talking about? Remember, you haven't found that Buddha inside of you yet. You haven't found the pearl yet. You haven't found your treasure yet. So what do you need to do? Regulate your mind and nature inside. Which mind is he talking about? Which nature he's talking about? You see, the Chinese teachers, they use the same word, nature, mind, and it has multiple meanings. Okay? It's very much like when the man tells you, I love you. You should immediately ask, is it degree number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? Which one is it? Like? Right? Okay? So which mind are we talking about? Which nature are we talking about? And the tip is regulate. What needs to be regulated? Your thinking mind. Your existing jealous nature for you. This current nature you have, regulate it. Your nature is what? That of you in particular. This is about regulate your. It's not my nature. It's not my mind. He's talking about your mind, your nature. So what nature are we talking about? Your Korean woman nature. Yes? It's not someone else's nature. For him, it's his, I can not recognize your nationality, ethnicity. Vietnamese man nature. Yeah? For him, his Korean hungry nature. Is that clear? It's about your mind and your nature. Because it is this mind of yours, the thinking mind, the discriminating mind, yeah? The scheming mind, yeah? The smart aleck mind, yeah? The mind who thinks that you're so superior, you're so smart, you know everything, yeah? Okay? All right? That mind there, that discriminating mind in particular, is what the Chinese teachers love to tell you. Stop discriminating. Stop scheming. Stop calculating. Regulate it. To regulate means that don't do it excessively. It's okay. Regulate meaning that it's okay to keep some, but don't do it excessively. Right? He's not talking about chopping it off. Okay? He's talking about regulating it. Reining in, pull back, yo, ho, horsey, right? Regulate it. Regulate your mind and regulate your wild nature, your Ikea nature. I like to put it that way. Yes, YouTube.
Master, here that 6th Patriarch advise us to regulate our minds and nature. Why didn't he say eliminate? Is it because it's impossible for us to do that?
Why did he say what?
Instead of regulate, why didn't he advise to just eliminate? Is it because of too far-fetched goal for us?
Why would you want to eliminate your mind? Are you crazy? Have you seen the movie The Beautiful Mind?
Yes.
If you eliminate that, who's going to invent the atomic bomb? Okay? Just regulate it. The mind is capable of both evil and good. The middle way is to tone it down, not deny it, not reject it. Embrace it, tone it down. That's all. Okay? Your mind is too fast, too smart, too demanding. Okay? Just tone it down. That's all. Tone it down more and more and more. That's the process. It's not about chopping it off. It's about toning it down, regulating it. Okay? So the instruction from the Master is that if you want to connect with the Buddha inside your mind, regulate it. Okay? Don't overdo it. You jealous a little bit. Don't show it in your face. Because jealous inside, you know it's inside, but you're smiling outside. I love you. Okay? That's what he's talking about. All right? And in nature, it requires you to recognize your tendencies. Okay, you stingy, regulate it. You too stingy, then be more generous. Yeah? You too violent, then refrain it. No more martial arts for you. That kind of thing. Okay? So whatever you find to be excessive, recognize it and tone it down, tone it down, tone it down, tone it down. And that is cultivation. It's evolution, it's not revolution. Okay? Cultivation is not revolution. Only revolution is for Clint Eastwood. Okay, you feel lucky today? That's too wild. Okay. YouTube. Look at Clint Eastwood. Look, you think he's happy? No, he's not happy. Now I'm going to get sued one of these days. I have such a big mouth. You too.
Be careful, Master.
I know. If Clint Eastwood comes and says, you feel lucky today, punk.
Oh my. We have a question here, but before I do that, I just want to remind our YouTube audience, please like and subscribe. Thank you. Cordelia Lee has a question. Emitofuo, Master, what's the difference between nature and habit energy?
The nature is, the habit energies are part of your nature. Okay? You spot those excessive habit energies, those tendencies. For example, the lady next to you, to your left, the next one after that one, okay? Her nature is to think. She thinks and thinks and thinks and thinks. She wants to understand and analyze, okay? Everything. Let me see. Those two, okay. Those two, okay. Either one of them is the same thing. They are like sisters. They look the same, don't you? Don't they? Look at that. Yeah, they're both of them. Both of them are like that. Okay? And so, you see, those are habit energies. The nature manifests itself in habits. All right? So, he says, inside, so it's very private. You don't talk about it. You don't explain to people. You don't say, you know, honey, I am regulating my nature right now. You see any difference? Do you notice any difference, any changes in me? Nothing? After 2 weeks of self-regulation, you see nothing? Do you really love me at all or what? Never mind, okay? So it's inside, meaning that it's very private. You don't talk about it. You just check for yourself, that's all, okay? Only yourself knows, and you don't brag about it. You don't explain to people. You don't expect people to notice. All right? Outside, respect others. It's so beautiful. Fundamentally, we should be respectful. Even the losers, we should respect them. Isn't it horrible? I've been telling you about the losers, but now I realize I must respect them too. What a revelation for me tonight. Outside, you have to respect them. So no more bad-mouthing the losers for me from now on until the end of tonight. Isn't that interesting? Even, I just use the word losers there because you like it. But what about evil people? Should we respect them? All others. You know, I should change the thing back there because it looks like a big hand. The thing, the dried flower behind, look, a big hand from Jeju Island. Never mind. Yeah. Wei Mountain, go ahead.
Hello, Master. I have a question. When he say outside, we have to respect other. Is that like we show it on the face, or is actually in our mind that we want to respect other? I don't understand the word when he say outside. Is that like outside of the mind, or we have to show the gratitude, the respectful to others, or is inside of us?
Can't we just leave it at the words level? Don't get so detailed. Just take it outside, respect others. Why do you ask so many questions? What do you think? My gosh. Huh? What do you think? He's so detailed. He says, I want to understand this. Okay? I don't want to make any mistakes. So outside, I need to respect others. He's asking about respect others. Does it mean I have to show, oh, please, 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 I respect you. Oh, please, 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 sit higher than me. Okay? Is that what we're talking about? Huh? Is that we show the deference and say, oh, your excellency, your highness. Yeah? Yes, go for us. Actually, go for us open tonight? Wait a minute. I thought they all drove up here to San Francisco. No one told you, Mrs. Gao?
Yeah, I missed all the fun.
No one told her. My gosh.
No, I know the.
You know, you're coming anyway. Okay.
Yeah. So I have an answer and then the question. So the answer to Han is that I think the outside here just means when it comes to mind our own business, we regulate our mind and nature. When it comes to mind other people outside, other people's business, then we show respect. That's the outside. Just means your part, and then when you deal with others, it's not about if you show it or if it's internally in your mind. It's about, it just means when you dealing with outside.
So can you insult them? That's what he wants to know. Can you insult people? She has to think. You see,
have to respect.
Let me think.
It's not about. It's still about your mind. It's about the respectful mind.
So can you insult people?
If
can you call them losers?
Probably not a good idea.
Probably not a good idea. Can you call them losers? I'm not calling anyone losers. Okay, I'm just saying in theory. I have to hold myself until 9 o'clock.
if you can do that while being very respectful inside, you can do that. So the question is, when it says regulate our mind and nature, and the master you explained is our thinking mind, who is doing the regulation? Is that our true mind doing the regulation?
Your true mind doesn't need to be regulated, my dear.
No. Who is doing the regulation? Who is regulating the thinking mind?
Well, let me see. Who's regulating? I have no idea. Who needs to regulate?
Well, when we regulate our mind and then check our mind, somebody is doing it, right? Or some mind is doing that work.
And who do you think that is? Who is he talking to?
I think it's
Before we get too far astray, who do you think the 6th Patriarch is talking to? When he says
ourselves.
regulate, he's ordering who?
It's ourselves. But I'm just wondering if there's the true mind part of ourself regulating the false mind.
No, very simple. Regulate your mind. I explained to you already. When you're too greedy, be less greedy. When you're too angry, be less angry. You use too much dope, lessen the dope. You drink too much, go double A. Okay? Regulate yourself. That's all he's saying. It's very simple. It's so profound. That is a middle way right there. But the Chinese don't explain it that way. That is a middle way. You are too lax, you're too lazy, be more ambitious. That's to regulate your mind. Yeah? It's excessive, chop it off. It's not enough, increase it. That's regulation. Yeah? Whose standard? Your standards. It's not about my standards, your standards right now. Okay? You do something excessively, cut back. Not doing not enough, eat more pasta. You're too skinny, eat more pasta, cheese, dairy products. Is that clear? You have to decide yourself. Regulate yourself. Okay, what is your question? She forgot the question already.
The question is, when we do that, do we use our true mind to doing the assessment and the regulation? That was what I was thinking.
How do you know it's a true mind versus a false mind?
I don't know. I was just thinking that we have to have access to something that can do the regulation.
Okay.
And something that is not the thinking mind.
Okay, you're thinking too much. Regulate your mind.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think I'm thinking too much, yes.
Next. Okay, so respect others. Did we answer Hong? Oh, by the way, folks, these people are Vietnamese, so don't call them Hung. Hong is pronounced H-O-N-G, Hong. Okay, don't call them Hung. Don't call them Cordelia Lee, Lei. Okay? Now regulate yourself. Don't be so lax. Okay? But we remind you, okay, so if people mispronounces the person next to her, just kind of slap her on the head and say, it's Lei. All right? Thank you. 7, regulate yourself.
첫 번째 질문은 춘이랑 질문이 비슷한데 결국에는 심성을 고르게 하라고 했는데 그러니까 생각하는 마음을 고르게 하라고 했는데 그걸 또 결국에 조정하는 것도 또 다른 생각하는 마음이 아닌가가 일단 제 첫 번째 질문이고요. 상호스님.
Similar to Chun's question. So regulate the mind, but what regulate is also thinking, isn't it?
그러니까 조절을 하셨었던 걸로 기억을 해서 선지식의 인스트럭션으로 조절할 수밖에 없으니까 그것도 또 다른 생각하는 마음이 아닌가라는 게 제 질문이고요.
So we have to regulate our mind based on the instruction of good knowing advisor.
근데
So is it also our thinking?
그리고 이제 두 번째는 안팎으로 다른 사람을 공경하라고 하셨는데 속으로는 공경심이 전혀 들지 않는데 겉으로 공경하라고 하면 그거는 안과 밖의 스트레이트 마인드가 아닌 게 아닌가. 그리고 그것도 마스터께서 어떤 거짓말 불망어의 법문에서 이 예시를 들으셨거든요. 내면으로는 A인데 겉으로 B라고 하는 건 거짓말이라고 했기 때문에 이 밖으로 다른 사람을 공경하라는 부분이 조금 예전에 들었던 법문과 상충이 돼서 질문드리게 됐습니다.
What if we don't respect inside? But we show respect to outside, it's not straight mind. So you said before that when our mind is A, but we say B outside, that is a lie. So isn't it contradict?
Master Z, you take care of her. Answer her, please. How did you deal with her all these years? You can answer her. 8.
Yeah, I think when we regulate the mind, I think it, and a good example of that, the practice of the controlling our own buffalo, that 10 step that we do. So we need to see our own mind, then we control it.
Control buffalo, he refers to her husband, I imagine. Okay, and what about respecting others?
Respecting others, that we don't mind their people business. So we just regulate our mind. So in communication with others, we just show, that means we respect, that means we don't show our attitude toward them. That's the respect.
So when she rides her husband, water buffalo, how did you show respect for the husband? I'm riding you, but actually I'm respecting you.
It's not at her level to do that.
To do what? Respect or riding?
Riding.
Riding, I see. Okay, see, the answer is so clear. Go back to Korea and do it. Yes, Wei Mount.
Thank you, Master. First of all, sending you big positive vibes in support of your plight not to talk about losers until 9 p.m. I'm here for you. In response to Hung's earlier...
Hung. Slap him. Hey, Yun. Hi, Yun.
I'm practicing giving you all the opportunity to regulate me. You're welcome. They were so ready, Master. Okay. In response to Hong's question earlier about outside, my take on that is outside is when you leave the house, because that's when it's most important that you regulate yourself. I think you have to have a safe place where, whether it's when you are getting ready to go to sleep at night or waking up in the morning, you got to kind of gather yourself and prepare yourself for your day. But once you're outside, you got to regulate. Like, I got to not honk at cars so much. I got to regulate. So that's my take on outside.
Makes sense? Very American. Anyone else? It's great that you're so interested. That's why you asked such detailed questions. It's excellent. You're confused like hell. It's because of my fault, because of me. Okay? Because you never gave me a chance to say this. Before I have a chance to tell you this, you asked me already. So they're great questions, by the way. Very good questions. How do you put up with her all these years? Yes, you too.
Thank you, Master. We have 2 questions. The first is from Sophia Gu. Am I saying her last name correctly? I apologize if I didn't, Sophia. Master, is the regulation of the mind equivalent to one of Master Xinhua's 6 principles of no self-indulgence?
Something like that. Second question.
The second is from Dan. Hi, Master. Does wisdom always come before compassion? And should wisdom and compassion always go together? Thank you, Master.
Usually, true wisdom has to be deep before you have great compassion. On the other hand, you cannot have true wisdom unless you have enough compassion. So it is a really rather delicate balance, okay? And don't try to understand too much, is the answer. Okay, you need both. You need wisdom, which helps with compassion, and the compassion would help you increase your wisdom. All right, let me explain to you this is what's so simple and yet so profound. He says, if you want to depend on yourself, if you want to depend on your own wisdom, I don't think these young ladies are looking for wisdom here. Okay, but anyway, just listen. He says, in order for you to really be able to depend on yourself, because you are the only real person that you can depend on, no one else. Is that clear? Don't look outside. Don't look for depend on a husband, a teacher, your president, whatever. Okay? You need to learn to depend on yourself. Fundamentally, that's the best refuge for you. Is that clear? Don't depend on your dad. Don't depend on your boyfriend. Don't depend on, hello. Don't depend on anyone. You can only depend on yourself. That's the first point. Is that clear? That's to take refuge. That is to depend on yourself. Okay? In order to depend on yourself, in order for you to become a force, okay? A Jedi. They're not responding to Jedis. It's too late for. I don't know what they're watching nowadays. Anyway, in order for you to be, self-reliant and depend on yourself, you have to look at 2 sides. One side is inside yourself and outside of yourself. Inside yourself, okay? Just privately. This is about your life. It's about you, not about me or anyone else. You don't need anyone else to recognize that you're doing this. You have to look at yourself and say, am I allowing my mind to run wild? When someone is wrong and wasting master's water, do I allow myself to lose my temper because they don't listen? If you do that, you're not regulating your mind. It's okay. Hey! You're wasting master's water, and then you back off. But you don't stand there. You're wasting temple water. You're going to hell. That's not regulating your mind. It's okay. Okay? It's okay to yell at your husband, but then you back off. Say, that's now I'm there. Let me back off. Less and less and less. That's regulating. We're not asking you to be perfect. We're asking you to learn to regulate yourself. Tone down, and tone down, and tone down. Inside. That's the bottom line. We're not asking for perfection, folks. He's teaching you in order for you to depend on yourself. You need to learn to tone it down and crank it up. If it's excessive here, tone it down. If it's not enough here, crank it up. You not have no plans for your future. All you think of is play video games. I'm groping how to connect with your children. Video games, okay? Okay? Then you need to regulate yourself. There you go. Now we're talking. Now, see, you have to regulate yourself. You have to be more ambitious. You have to do something more constructive. More and more and more. You see that? It's about tempering it, regulating yourself. Too much of something, tone it down. Too little of something, crank it up. That's regulation. All right? It's about you. You look at yourself. Inside meaning look at yourself. And again, that's why I said, it's not about you asking your husband, have you noticed any change? How much nicer I am to you nowadays? You don't need to depend on your husband to tell you that you regulated. You only look at yourself, okay? You see, you notice how your husband is not as scared of you anymore? Actually becomes to take you for granted? It's fantastic. You're regulating yourself. It's good? Is it clear? So, in order for you to be self-sufficient, in order for you to be able to depend on yourself, which is the only real person you can depend on. It's a very important point. You don't depend on anyone else. If you depend on anyone else, you're in big trouble. The only person you can depend on, again, is yourself. And therefore, in order for you to be able to depend on yourself, the words of wisdom is that look at yourself. Regulate your mind. Okay? And change your nature, change your habits. So look at yourself. Look inside. How about outside? Outside here is not about Shen Yun. Not at all. What is outside? Outside means not you, not inside. It's the opposite of inside. Outside is not you, everyone else. What are you supposed to do with everyone else? Respect them. Whoever they are. Okay? They may be different from you. They're not as good as you. They're more arrogant than you. they're not as smart than you, they're smarter than you respect them all. See? Respect others. See, it's so beautiful. The word is 外敬大人, okay? Is that anyone who's not you, you respect them. Does it say that be respectful or just respect them? There's a difference. You ask a question. The question says, when you say respect others, does it mean as a yes, your honor, yes. Is that respectful enough? No, it talks about your mind. Your mind is respectful. You're a professor. Your students always come to you trying to, well, not in Spain apparently. We went through this before, haven't we? In America, sir, all students go to professors, try to steal a better grade from the professors. This is what we do in America. We're very proud of it. Lena Lee, am I correct? When you go to an American university, this is what all students do. They come to the professor trying to get a better grade. Yeah?
Yes.
She did it too. You did it too yourself. That's how you became a professor.
I worked hard as a student.
Yeah, right. Okay, but you got the point? The point is that outside of yourself, everyone, you respect everyone. You respect everyone. It's not you are respectful to everyone. No. To respect everyone doesn't mean you have to be respectful to everyone. Sometimes to respect everyone, like your child, you sometimes have to beat him up. But not in America. You go to jail. Okay, America has a lot of rules that are weird. Okay, where I came from, you take a stick, 1-inch stick, and beat them. Never mind. I'm violent. I need to tone it down. I need to regulate my violence. Anyway, you got that? So this is a teaching. Outside, towards everyone, you are respectful. No matter how wrong they are. And you know, I don't know what happened to Jung, but you know, here we have an ex-president, which makes it very difficult for me to be respectful. I still trying every day to say, do I have enough respect for him? I don't. And we're working on it. My point is that we're working on respecting more others. How is it related to be able to depend on yourself? It's incredible wisdom. Why can't we simply depend on our mothers, our fathers, our godfather? You've seen the movie Godfather? Oh, the Korean sunim are so boring. I can't take it. Yes, Way Mountain.
Hi, Master. I'm back. Master, I have a question. Is it different, or when you are saying the mind and nature, is that referring to ego, or is that a different thing? Or ego is different from the mind and our nature. And if so, regulating our mind is regulating our ego?
Our thinking. Our ego, everything. Okay? Your thinking mind. All right?
Thank you,
You got that? So inside, you need to regulate your mind. Okay? Cut out the excesses, increase the deficiencies. So it's regulating. Okay? Nature refers to your habits, habit energies, yes. All right? Outside, you have to be respectful to all others. It's so much more important, much more powerful when he left out the word all, because there's no more discrimination. Okay? Respect all others. All is implied, meaning that who are you not respectful enough towards? Who don't you respect enough? I just gave you one example for me. I have a hard time respecting the guy who uses everything just to make money. He doesn't give a darn about anyone else. The family, the country, principles, he doesn't care. To him, all boils down to whatever you can do to get away with, to get more money, to make more money. Can you respect a person like that? I feel you struggle with that. Such a bad example for the young people. Okay? So anyway, so outside, you must respect everyone, okay? All others, meaning that who are you not respecting? It's a personal thing. You don't say, I respect others. It's about, for me, it means to me that who do I have to learn to be have more respect for? Of course, it's easy to say, I respect my father, I respect my mother, I respect my wife, and so forth. That's easy. Respect others means that who must I have more respect for? That's Buddhist teaching. I interpret for you. Is that clear? My question still, how does it make you more of be able to depend on yourself? It's an incredible wisdom. First, he says, don't depend on others. You depend on yourself. Bottom line, you have to depend on yourself. Is that clear? Number two, he says, this is how you can depend on yourself, by inside and outside. It's an attitude. Outside, respect others. Inside, regulate your mind and nature. But how does it make you being able to depend more on yourself? Yes, Wei Mountain.
Master, I'd like to talk about the most grim of violence confronted by humans, and that's mass killing and murders and terrorists. And the question is, obviously, how do we learn to respect them? How can you respect someone at that heinous level? I've thought about it, and actually it just occurred to me listening to you just now that part of the answer I would give personally is, well, I can respect that person, but only for one reason, and that is because that person is teaching me exactly who I do not want to be, and I respect them for that learning experience.
Excellent. You find a way to respect others. That's the teaching point. Okay? No matter how wrong they are, no matter how disappointed you are in them, you still have to find a way to really respect them inside your heart. That's what we're talking about. Is that clear? It's about your heart. Are you have respect for them or not? Okay? So for G.I. Joe, he says, I've developed respect because I have this reason for me that can make it easier for me to have respect for them. Yes, go first.
Master, I think it's related to the self-reliance or self-refugee because giving us two parts, inside regulate our own mind and nature, outside respect others, that's the essence of how we behave without need a guidance from others. That's the essence of how we find our internal Buddha nature. Right? So that's why that's a relationship.
Okay. Next, Wei Mao.
Thank you, Master. I want to make sure I understand, or I got your question right. You're asking, how does self-regulation help us depend on ourselves more?
Yes.
Thank you, Master. In my experience, I believe it helps me depend on myself more because I find myself more present with myself, observing my faults in real time, observing my failures in real time, and whether I regulate successfully or not, at least I'm cognizant. Whereas in the past, it's more like you would say a wild horse. So at least I know there's some reins, and it helps me know that I can depend on myself to get better at reining myself in over time with practice, try again.
What about others?
How does it help me depend on others more?
How does respecting others help you be more reliable to yourself?
Because it helps me to diminish my ego and to be amicable. And
don't look at me. Don't look for confirmation.
Oh.
Don't depend on me.
Well, right. That's the point. I'm depending on me.
Okay. Very good. Anyone else? There is the wisdom in here. Okay. If you regulate yourself, avoid excesses. Okay? Too much plus is no good. Too much minus is no good. So regulate yourself. Okay? Inside, you watch out for that. Outside, you always respect others. All others. And that's the best way to depend on yourself because, simply put, yes, Wei Mao.
Thank you, Master. Relevant to what Brady was sharing with his example of how can I be respectful to people who are mass murderers and, some of these examples of extreme behaviors in humans. How do I find it in myself to respect that person? And he shared about how he sees it. And I think what I do is I look at the person and realize we all have Buddha nature. I have no right to judge this person at this point in time. This is who they are. And probably in past lives, I was that person. I did those things. And so everybody is going to have an opportunity to develop their own Buddha nature at some point in their existence. And right now, they're not there. And that's how I see it.
How therapeutic. Thank you so much. Okay, very good. Okay, that's a very good explanation. Yes, YouTube.
Okay, thank you, Master. I get to try it again. I have 2 questions here, and the first is from Cordelia Lay. Yes. I do it, okay. Cordelia. Okay, moving on.
Bravo.
Master, can we be respectful to someone but feel like we are walking on eggshells when we are next to them?
That's a hard one. When you talk about being respectful, again, it refers to inside, you respect someone. But outside, your behavior may not be respectful. Okay? Which requires wisdom. Until you have wisdom to be able to use that thing called expedient, where you insult people and you berate people, but actually you're respectful inside because you have wisdom and you can use that thing called expedient, don't do it. Okay? If you don't have real wisdom yet and you don't have enough wisdom yet, be respectful. Simple as that. I'm sorry, we disagree here. Okay? It doesn't diminish my respect for you. Okay? Let's stop here. Okay? And agree to disagree, but I still respect you. I respect you. That's all. You don't have to respect me, but I respect you. Stop at that. That's all. All right? And same thing. This is what goes hand in hand. Like regulate your nature, like your Clint Eastwood nature, the tendency, the pull, the urge to pull the trigger. Okay, so you regulate. You see, it goes hand in hand. Okay, both inside and outside. Second question.
Thank you, Master. The next question is from Chris. Master, for many Americans, respect is earned, not given. But as a Buddhist, is there a middle way, or should we just respect everyone, regardless if they deserve it or not?
In Buddhism, everyone deserves respect. Okay? And that's why we're here, to teach the Americans how to be better. And you can tell that in a culture, in a person, when they lack respect for others, then they have no wisdom whatsoever. And this is so beautiful to me. Okay? I'm glad you brought up from different perspectives, Americans and non-Americans and so forth. It's so clear. You look at from the way, another way to look at this teaching is you look at others. Okay? Are they always talking about themselves? They're not regulating themselves. Okay? Or are they respectful to others? Do the way they talk, they behave, all the things. Look at a person. Are they respectful? Do they have respect for others? And they don't, you don't want to have a long-term relationship with these people. Because you will be the object of their disrespect eventually. Yes, go Forrest.
I actually want to share my experience as a Chinese, some cultural perspective. I actually personally think when I came to the US, one of the thing that impressed me the most is I think American culture really stresses respect to everyone, regardless of their age, social status. Like I see people show a lot of respect to children. This is coming from China. It's entirely different. Like in China, there's a lot of kind of looking at people according to their, if they're poor, if they're like, with no status, or children, they're not giving respect. Versus in America, I see people show respect to, people cleaning the bathroom or like very young children. That's something I felt I learned a lot from the American culture. And I just think that's really cool, and that's very Buddhist and very Mahayana in this country, I think.
I disagree with you. In California, you find people having more respect for others, okay, a lot more than in the Midwest, for example. I was living in the Midwest. There's discrimination there. And I work in America South. There's a lot of discrimination there as well. So you see, so it depends on which part of the country you live in. This is why California has so many transients and foreigners, because we are a lot more respectful and welcoming of the others. Okay, but in the other parts of the country, not necessarily. Okay, they're not as open-minded. New York, for example, is very, very open-minded. Okay, to the point of being a mercenary. As long as you're useful to me, I will use you. I will respect you. As long as you're useful. Okay, I love it. Okay, and so my experience has been more than just living here in California. California, we are a lot better off. That's why we are very blessed to be able to be here. And this is why, by the way, that Master YongHua's temples are concentrated in California. They cannot function well outside of California. Very, very difficult. I went to Virginia, I went to Georgia, I went to the East Coast, the Midwest and so forth, many states. It's not the same level of respect as in California. They say they are polite to you, yes. They're amiable to you, yes. But respect, not necessarily. There's discrimination inside their heart. If you have discrimination, you cannot have respect. You don't discriminate against genders, against age, against ethnicity, against skin colors, against. Then you have respect. If you are still, my mind is still measured by money, by recognition, by status and so forth, you don't have respect. Ultimately, you don't have enough respect. That's why you cannot depend on yourself. Make sense? Because if that's how you are, when you're outside of your comfort zone, people will not like you. You cannot depend on yourself. See that? And there's so many ways to explain why that's how you can be more dependent on yourself. It helps you open your wisdom, helps you get along better with your family and loved ones and friends and so forth. All those are great reasons. But ultimately, you do it this way, you will find out that it's a true way to be reliant on yourself. You do this, you don't need to depend on anyone. You find out. That's so beautiful. It is so insightful from this great teacher. Who says Buddhism has to be, You have to know about this sutra, that shastra, and Vinaya, and so forth. He puts it in such a beautiful way that encapsulates Buddhist profound wisdom. Just do it, and that's wisdom. And for him, it takes this person of great wisdom to be able to translate this principle into simple action. Regulate yourself and be respectful. Respect others. Yes, Wei Mao.
Just really quick, that what you just described, if we look at worldly way, it kind of makes us happier, because you could find the happiness within yourself, not relying on others.
That's right. You will be able to find happiness inside of yourself, not outside. Okay, thank you everyone. We stop here tonight. Good discussion.